Hey everybody, welcome to WP EasyCart. This is our how-to series on how to do simple, easy things with your WordPress website. And today we're going to take a look at how to get an SSL running, what an SSL is, and how to really secure your website. So let's get started. First off, what is an SSL? You might hear that buzzword a lot around websites and WordPress. And an SSL simply means when you are loading your website, it's using HTTPS, which means you have a secure certificate on your web server. Essentially, you want everything to be encrypted from your user's browser all the way to your hosting site. All that information is jumping through a lot of different networks as people browse your website, and if you use HTTPS, your site is going to be secure. It's going to be encrypted between wherever the user is, either on their mobile phone or their tablet or their desktop, all the way to your site. And so we used to have HTTP, which was very common, but it was unencrypted. Even Google in the last few years has required sites now to have HTTPS in order to actually be indexed on search engines. So it's almost mandatory now. You will see sites that have this little padlock, and that means you are running securely in HTTPS. So anything coming to your browser is going to be using an SSL. The SSL is actually the piece that you have to either purchase or it comes with your web hosting. So you'll want to talk to your web host and make sure that you have an SSL on there. Typically nowadays it just comes with your hosting, and so you don't have to worry about installing it or purchasing it. Okay, you can see what your certificate is by clicking on it. You can go to your connection is secure, and you can see your certificate is valid. If you click on that, it actually shows what the certificate is. I can see on here it's actually securing this website it's issued to. It's issued by, and it gives you the organization. This is a Let's Encrypt, which is a really common free SSL, and then it gives you the valid period. So if your SSL is ever expired, you'll know that it needs to be renewed. Okay, so that's what the SSL will do. It will secure your site. Just know that most web hosts typically come with it. So the next step is, how do you actually make sure your site loads with HTTPS? Just because you have an SSL on your website does not mean it will load securely. So let's take a look. This website, if I just refresh it, it automatically loads securely every time. So how do we do that? Let's jump over to our WordPress admin and let's take a look at our general settings. This is the first place you should go. And what you will want to do is make sure that your WordPress address and your site address has HTTPS, not HTTP. Okay, and that means it will start to try to load everything securely. Okay, now just because your website loads securely doesn't mean all of your different assets on the page are loading securely. So sometimes you'll get a mixed content error, and there's ways to fix that. For example, if we go take a look at a media library, this is often where you drag in all your images and photography and content for your site. And if you click on a picture, you'll notice it has the file URL. Sometimes people have loaded these through non-HTTPS methods, so they'll have HTTP here, and your site is going to load some content it won't. What we want to do is we want to force our website to always load HTTPS as well as all the content on the page. And there's several ways to do that, but there's really good plugins available that focus on this exactly. And so let's take a look at plugins here. This one, for example, is called Really Simple SSL. It's free plugin, it's lightweight, and when you install and activate this plugin, you'll notice under your settings you get a new SSL section. So I'm going to open that up, and this program, again, they have a pro version. You don't need the pro version. Just a simple SSL plugin is often a really good tool to use. They're going to try to sell you on a lot of other different security stuff, but we have a different plugin that we use for that. So we want to just use this for the SSL piece. And if we take a look at the settings of something like this plugin, it says how do you want to handle anything trying to come into your site non-secure, and it's going to use a PHP redirect. That's fine. You can experiment with the setting there. The other thing this plugin really offers is something like this, which is a mixed content fixer. So if you do have any of those images that happen to be loading across your site non-HTTPS, if you enable something like this mixed content fixer, it will solve that. When it tries to load anything, it will try to make sure it uses HTTPS. Okay, there's other ways of doing mixed content, so you might have to experiment if things load oddly. Again, you're dealing with themes and a lot of other plugins, so they give you some other tools. But these plugins are nice. They just let you enable HTTPS, and they give you a simple content fixer for that. So it's really simple to do. You just go to your general settings. Make sure that you put in HTTPS here, and that typically will make your site load completely securely, and you can check up here to make sure your SSL is working and loaded and that you have that padlock. That's the key. Okay. We also have in WP EasyCart, if you're using our e-commerce system, in our settings, you can go to, I believe it's checkout, and you can turn on force website into HTTPS secure. Okay, your SSL certificate is required. Again, I think it's going to be on every host. So hopefully that's a really simple explanation of what the SSL does, what you need to do to make it work, and a couple different methods to enable it, either like through EasyCart or through a different plugin. Again, check with your host to make sure you have one, but you really probably should have one on there automatically. So if you're curious about more, including maybe how to secure your website from other attacks, we have a really good video on that. It talks about WordFence. So check out our other videos.